Hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of TutorPreneurs. This interview series is very special as we host some bright tutorpreneurs who have done it really big in this tutoring industry. Today, it's my pleasure to host very supporting, creative, amazing, caring, my guiding force and my mentor, Mrs. Gaurika Gupta ma'am. Welcome ma'am to Tutorpreneur series.
Hi, Vivek.
Can you please introduce yourself to the audience and tell us about your journey till now in tutoring industry?
So, Vivek, just like I had shared with you earlier, I have been a software engineer and I have an IT experience of nearly 10 years. But always I had a passion for teaching. I have been a coach, a teacher for my kids, for their friends in libraries. I have conducted lots of workshops, and with time it created an impression basically that I'm a teacher, and students started and parents started asking me about classes, when do I conduct them, and what are my charges. And it just struck me at that time, and with the mom guilt in mind, going doing the 9 to 5 job, that why don't I try it as my career? Why don't I convert my passion into my career? And with God's grace, like when I converted it, tried it slowly, I finally ended up creating YoungGates.
That's
So,
a very
so the
amazing
journey
journey.
started with a single me working in it, and now it's a team working together.
Oh, that's really an awesome and amazing journey, I would say. We have lots of things in common, I can say. I am also an aeronautical engineer by profession, but soon I realized that I also love tutoring. So we can say we share something in common. Now, coming to the next question, how did you convince yourself that this is one thing that I want to do completely means the rest of my life? How did you convince yourself?
The real motivation comes when you get the feedback from students and as well as the parents. So I told you earlier, I used to teach for free. I just out of my passion. I taught my kids animation, coding, and when they used to show it to their friends, their parents used to ask me, okay, can you teach them? And they being my kids' friends, so I used to teach them. And then those kids used to go and show it to their contacts, and when it all comes back to you, you feel that there is something that you are doing which is required. Parents are looking for something that they really want to teach their kids, and that's what basically drove the motivation when the number of calls started increasing. And then on top of that, it's not just about teaching, and when you get a feedback that somebody actually is doing really well and is taking it to the next level. I have had stories where student parents don't even know anything about programming, but obviously they want their kids to know about it since it's so popular nowadays. And there was a student of mine who was planning to take a biotech uh, as a field because she knew nothing about coding. But now she's opted for computer sciences. So that is a total achievement for me that she loved it so much. She said that, oh, I was going to opt for biotech just because I didn't know anything about coding. So then it shows that I'm doing my work pretty well.
Yeah, you are doing it pretty well. I can assure everyone about it because I have also learned a lot of things and we are collaborating on many programs right now as well. So now, what are some difficulties that you faced while entering and even now when you are running your business very successfully?
What are the
Difficulties. What are the difficulties that you faced or struggles you have to go through while starting and now also when your business is going on very well?
See, I feel that obviously every difficulty, I won't look at it as a difficulty. Actually, I would call them challenges. If there are no challenges, then there won't be any work to do. If everything is a smooth ride, it's all about figuring out a solution to that. And obviously, I would say that more the challenges means that you are doing even better. You are going ahead, and more things have to be streamlined to make take it to the next level. So I feel it's more about, since I told you I'm increasing the team now, rather than being just a teacher on the platform, it's now a team working together. The main thing is there are certain values that I hold. For me, it's not about having a student registered with us, it's more about making a difference in their life. They should feel that we added value to them, and they should feel like coming back to us for whatever we are coaching them for. So, building a team which believes in those values is the highest uh, priority for me, and which leads a lot of I would say, a lot of struggle to figure out who could be part of the team.
Yeah. Could you elaborate some of the values which you want the person to be, if a person wants to be in your team? So could you please share some of those values? So like if someone feels, oh, I think I'm eligible or I'm capable, so that he can contact you.
Right. So I would say, like, I have come across people, other tutors and stuff, in which they have very predefined structures of each class. The teacher comes in and he teaches that specified structure for each class. They have PDFs. So I personally don't believe in that approach. I would prefer having teachers who are masters in their field, so that when they have because I feel every student has its own requirement. If somebody has to come to me, say, for Python coding, there is a student who has who would do much higher level of programs compared to a student who would do much simpler programs. And only if the teacher knows about coding, he understands that concept well, he can modify the program according to the needs of the student. So in YoungGates, basically the teachers are actually masters of their field. They are not just teachers who have been given a structured program with PDFs assigned and they come and just teach those topics and the class is done. So even if the student comes up with random questions and requests to go for any topic, I can say with confidence that my teachers can handle any topic at any time, since they understand their subject pretty well.
Yeah, that is something very, we can say, it's very important, because just recently I had an encounter with a very, very bright student, and what was supposed to be done in 20 days, we just ended up in doing 11 days. I was just awestruck, oh my God, what to do after that?
Right. So just the summer workshop that we did, right?
Yes, yes, yes. The student was so fast. Literally, we used to cover the topic, and we used to solve around 250 questions in a single day's workshop. Can you believe that? Means 2.5 century every day. At least we used to solve 200 questions. And some summer camps, means I do have some students who take 1 hour to solve 3 to 4 questions, and they're happy with it. There are some students, and we need to cater that as well. Like whatever the student has, you always
Yeah,
keep on saying, the students are the boss,
exactly. Every
and
kid
we
has
need to
their
cater.
own pace, and we need to respect that. And our aim should be to take them to the next level in a way that they are comfortable. Plus, we see the progress happening.
Yeah, that's our main motive, and the product is the best thing possible that we can do for the student, because they are the ones who are going to keep the teacher's legacy going on. Like if you teach me something, I will be passing on to someone, someone will be passing on to some other person. That's how people live an eternal life. Eternal life doesn't mean that you have to live for ages and ages. It just means that you need to pass the knowledge to all the possible people or the things. That's what, according to me, is being eternal. So people, maybe they write it down, write down books. If someone is not able to understand it now, maybe after 100 years, someone will be able to understand it. So your thoughts are very noble, I can say that. Coming to the next question, in this is one of my favorite questions I ask every entrepreneur. Did you ever feel like giving up?
I would say I feel exhausted. I feel like taking a break sometimes. I'm like, I don't want to do anything. And there are, in fact, sometimes it's the whole week. I'll be like, just telling my teachers, okay, you guys take the classes. I'm not putting in any extra efforts or anything to make it even better. But yes, those days come. But then again, we give ourselves the motivation to bring ourselves back in the flow.
Yeah. Why I say this is my favorite question is because from like 7 days, I feel like in the 4 days, why am I doing this? Why should I do this?
Hmm. I think it's more of a break time that you need. Actually, the body is at that time asking you for a break. It's not that you don't want to do your work. I don't have a passion for young kids. I would say young kids is just like my third kid. It's not just a company. It's something I really associate with. Something which I started from scratch, and it is. There are days when you get upset with your kid. There are days you don't want to see your kid, but actually you really love your kid.
Yeah.
And
This
you
is
want to
the,
do the best for your kid.
that's so true. You need to bring so many good caretakers for the kid. Look after them. They are providing the food, water, everything on time or not. The same.
Exactly. It has to be a very structured approach, just like we have to grow our kids into something better. Same way, this has to grow up into something better.
Yeah. So mine is like we can say starting stage right now, and you have done really awesome in this business. So, how difficult, according to you, is scaling up in this business?
How is what scaling up in this
Scaling up,
business?
yes. Okay.
See, I believe that if we provide quality, scaling is something that can happen on its own. We don't have to. My experience earlier, I was thinking of doing a lot of marketing, and I've actually wasted a lot in not wasted, actually I'd say it's created a lot of visibility. But I'm slowly realizing that, and even though I still do marketing, that's a satisfaction that we are doing it, but it's more about the relationship that you develop with your student, and the level of change and growth that you create in their life. Because I believe word of mouth marketing is the best marketing. And anybody who comes through references, they come with a very high level of confidence compared to somebody who comes randomly by seeing ads where they are actually testing you rather than being really committed with
Okay. I completely agree with you because I have whatever business right now I have is like 70 to 80% is because of word of mouth only. The people who usually come with that reference, we can say that that is 90% the deal is already done. They have just come to say yes to you. It's just about scheduling the time. When do you want? When can we send our kids? Or what time you are free for tutoring them? So word of mouth actually is very effective. But don't you think it's a very slow approach of getting students?
Yeah, it is a very slow approach, but I feel that down the line, like obviously, it would be like, say, in a couple of years, it would ultimately become a big volume. It's a very slow journey if we go by the word of mouth until we try to do something which enables us to get a higher volume. That is a totally a marketing approach, but the word of mouth definitely works based on what we have. We need to create a very good impact on them.
Yeah. Because why I wanted to tell this point is the first student of my life where I started my home tutoring. So she actually I tutored for maths and science. So physics, chemistry, and maths to be accurately. So within a span of 2.5 months, she scored her scores doubled. Like she was scoring out of 80, she was scoring like 35, 34, and within 3 months, she got 71 out of 80 and 74 out of
Wow,
80 in maths. So
that's amazing.
the parents actually got mad.
Right. So that's if you see the results, and actually it even gives you the confidence to get into the profession more seriously, that you are actually able to make a difference in someone's life.
Yeah. And they actually started referring me everywhere. Someone says tuition, they'll just shout, Vivek, Vivek, Vivek.
Right. So that's how the journey starts. Like basically, then you
Yeah,
can figure out whether you can look at it as a profession or not. When you know
yeah.
that you are able to convey the concept ahead, which a student can understand.
So the point which I wanted to tell you is talk to you about is it took me around 6 months, like the three months of tutoring and 1 or 2 months holidays are there after the 10th board exams. So it took me around 6 months to crack my second client. So do you think this gap can be minimized for a new person, because it's very a drowning journey if you don't get students, uh, and tutorpreneurs, I think tutorpreneurs are very lonely people. There is no one usually to talk to them alone sitting in
Right.
front of the
But
computer.
I would say, like what we are talking about right now, it even depends on your network. It's not just that you crack the student in working on it. You have Facebook, you have Twitter, you have Instagram. The world's become a very small place now. So we are teaching students in Bangkok, Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, so London. So they are all, it's not like we haven't closed our boundaries within our city now. So it's more about actively marketing out there. That would be, I would say, the second step that any tutorpreneur has to take to create a visibility, and also obviously figure out what time slots are you comfortable teaching in.
Yeah, that's actually a good advice. Any new entrepreneur or someone who wants to enter this field can go through it. Now, my next question to you is like, did you do some mistakes and rectify them, which are instrumental in your growth right now?
Can you just rephrase that question?
Yeah. So, are there some mistakes that you did and rectified them, and after rectification, they are very instrumental in growth of your business?
Yeah, there. I would say that yeah, I have tried a lot of things. I won't call it mistakes. I would say I always keep experimenting with different combinations. And if I say I try 10 things, out of which one might work, so those rest nine are not a mistake. They are a learning that the market is not looking for that.
Yeah.
And maybe I tried 20 things, all 20 things don't work. That tells me at least confidently that I don't need to put my energy on this side.
Yeah.
So it's more about experimenting, and there are many things that are like, if you've looked at our website, it has evolved over time, because based on the demands that we get, people say, okay, we were looking for this, you don't have any information related to that. And I'm like, okay, let's add a page about that. So it's all about, it's not that you're perfect the day one you create something, it's going to have everything in it. Yes, my website is very incomplete. Maybe if you'd seen it 2 years ago, it must be half the size.
Yeah.
So, so in fact, the mistakes have made me grow, and it only makes me feel good that I made that mistake.
Oh, actually, by saying that you answered my the next question, which I was going to ask you. Let me just ask it to you. Do you regret some mistakes that you did in the tutoring journey?
You already have the answer. So point is, making I can make a mistake only if I try to do something, right?
Yep, yep.
So obviously, that if I know, generally people would say, "How can you do this?" I said, "I did this. That's why I know I cannot do this." Because whatever I did at that time, it made sense to me. Okay, you are smart enough to figure it out before that, but I can say now that I'll not do it now.
Yeah, that's so true. And it comes with experience. And you can tell a lot of people, like, I usually see some kids or some students. I have done a lot of mischiefs in my life when I was a student. So when I see a mischief student, and I try to tell him, don't do this. In the end, you're going to you're going to be in pain. You're going to feel bad. He says, no. I said, yeah, I also didn't listen to my teacher when he was telling me. It's fine. Let him go through it once. Then he will tell it to someone else. It
Correct.
always
Like even
tells his
with coding,
experience.
I tell you, like I do so much of coding. I believe that kids are much more smarter than us. If we think that we are going to teach them something and they're supposed to do that, then we are actually very bad teachers. We cannot actually dictate terms on them because let me tell you, like I made a ping pong game with a student, and I have that traditional mindset that this is a ping pong table, a ball goes from here to there and from there to here. And the kid who made that ping pong game with me, he added so many new features to it that the ball, if it goes to the right, it automatically comes back and stuff like that. So, but that was actually a game. You can look at it as a game. There is no hard and fast rule that a game has to be like that. So it's, but if I had told him that you create exactly the same code, what I'm saying, I was actually restricting him from thinking.
That's
So if if he was able to put it that all together, I actually felt good that I like if you're a maths teacher, if you taught student 4 plus 5, 10 plus 11, but later on you give him a test with all random questions and he's able to do them, that's where you actually did your job.
yeah.
So if I taught my student coding and if he's able to apply those concepts to create anything out of the box, I feel my job is done because now he's able to apply those. He knows what pieces of code to use to create what's in his mind.
That's it. In the end, our end goal is the best possible student. Means something we can just give to a student in the best possible way. And I can say that I have been saying it many times in the tutorial interview series that teacher is the most teaching is the most powerful profession in this world. Means not uh, not the prime minister, not the president, not the army chief. If teacher decides he can make literally 10 prime ministers, 10 presidents, 10 army chief of 10 different countries. It all depends on him. The procedure is very slow. It may take like 10 years or 12 years, but it's all dependent upon the teacher's intention. So intention really matters. Like what intent you're teaching. I have seen many teachers who are good at teaching, but their intention they get bored after some 1 or 2 years, and maybe they are good, but their intention when they are in the class that it's not about being about teaching the student. It's just about passing the time, getting paid on time, and going home. So intention really matters. That whatever I have, sometimes I don't know much stuff what my student is asking me, but I try to give him the best what I know because I do have that intention to teach him something whatever I know. And if I don't know, I can just say, okay, I don't know. I'll give you the answer for tomorrow for sure. Coming to the next question, what are your plans for 3 to 5 years? Because I can see your startup is way better than a company, a huge company here running in India. They have, they don't need teachers with coding knowledge to teach coding to the students. So I'm really interested to know that. What are your plans for 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, I don't have any plans for 3 to 5 years. I just want to enjoy the journey. Believe me, all the team that I work with, I told you, we are all professionals, and that's what I very proudly say that. It's not, I don't go by a rule of that each class is a fixed structure that we teach. So it's more about if I'm able to find teachers who can work as a family and we can grow together. So basically, it would keep progressing from one subject to another as long as they meet the criteria what I'm looking for.
Yeah, I
So
think many
even if
people
there
are.
is no new teacher added, but I want the people who are we are working with, we all work with the mutual respect for each other because it's all about because everyone specializes in the field.
Yeah, that's absolutely so true. How many people are there in your team, and what do you think is the importance of a good team?
I cannot comment on how many people I have in my team, but I can definitely share with you the subjects that we teach. So
let's
maybe
let's let's take it different. There are a lot of people working in your in your team right now. Let's continue for subject.
so I can just focus on the key areas that we are right now focusing on is coding and maths.
Mm-hmm.
And in coding, we are dealing from elementary kids to high school. And by elementary means we start from 5 years old till 16 years old. And basically each level, each age group has their own sets of tools of learning, and based on knowledge and experience we decide and suggest programs to the parents, and parents can tell us even what they are looking for. There are parents with very specific needs, they're already clear with that, and there are parents who are willing to go with the journey. So we start from fundamentals to block-based coding to coding like Python, Java, websites making, app making, and on top of that, there are some fillers for entertainment and overall development like public speaking, Rubik's, math tricks, fast math, and obviously we are recently started with math because of demand coming in for that, and we are planning to also develop a pretty good structured approach to maths as well. And we have
For sure.
even successfully conducted a few workshops as well this time.
Yeah, that's so true.
Mm.
So now this have been a very informative interview till now. What is something that you would like to tell a person who is willing to, or is struggling, or is in this tutorpreneur journey?
The only thing I would tell him is that whatever subject you are in, just uh, excel in that. Whatever subject you create, you have to create a program keeping in mind who is the kid, and it should actually make a difference in that kid's life. It should not be about quantity, it should about be the quality. Because once you have a quality product ready, then I believe it is much easier to go to the next level.
Yes,
If
sure
a
it is.
student comes and leaves you after 2 months, it's he might leave saying, okay, we just want to discontinue. But the real reason might be he's not happy with the teacher. So
That's
it's more about having him for the whole year and building the whole curriculum rather than just being happy that yes, he is coming online at whatever time slot we have decided.
yeah, that's so true. Now, if there is some student or some teacher who wants to get in contact with you, or someone who wants to learn coding and maths from you, how can they contact you? Can you please give us the details?
Yeah, they can visit our website www.younggates.com, and they can even email us at info@younggates.com, and they can reach me directly by phone at 650-229-4307.
Yeah. I will also mention all the details in the description of the video so that whenever they click the link, they should directly reach you only or your email box. Yeah. So
Sure.
uh, it has been a very informative interview. Thank you so much for being here, and please keep supporting, guiding, and mentoring because a lot of people do need your support, man. Thank you so much.
It's really nice. And thanks, Vivek, for the interview.
Thank you.
Thank